In a small village by a wide blue river lived a poor fisherman named Okoro. Every morning, he carried his old wooden canoe into the water and cast his net, hoping to catch enough fish to feed himself and his wife, Ada. Life was hard, and some days he returned home with nothing but wet clothes and an empty stomach. One morning, the river was strangely quiet. Okoro cast his net again and again, but nothing came out. Tired and worried, he decided to try one last time before going home. As he pulled up the net, he noticed something shining inside. Inside the net was a beautiful golden fish that glowed like the sun. Its scales sparkled and its eyes were bright like tiny stars. Okoro had never seen anything like it in his life. He held the fish gently, wondering if he was dreaming. The golden fish suddenly began to speak. "Good fisherman, please spare my life," it said softly. "If you let me go, I will reward you with blessings beyond your imagination." Okoro jumped back in shock, but his heart felt warm. Okoro knew he could sell the fish for a large amount of money, but the fish's gentle voice touched him. He decided to release it back into the river. Before swimming away, the golden fish promised him one wish. Okoro wished for food so that he and his wife would not starve. That evening, when Okoro returned home, he found Ada standing outside in surprise. Their small hut was filled with baskets of fresh food, yams, fruits, rice, pepper soup ingredients, and more. Okoro thanked the river silently. Ada was amazed when Okoro told her about the golden fish. She listened with wide eyes, unable to believe that a fish could talk. But the food before them was real, and so was the joy they felt. She suggested that Okoro return to the river the next day to thank the fish again. Okoro agreed. Deep in his heart, he hoped the golden fish would appear again. Early the next morning, Okoro paddled to the same spot on the river. He cast his net and waited. After some minutes, the water began to glow softly, and the golden fish appeared again. "Good fisherman, why have you returned?" the fish asked. Okoro smiled softly and thanked the fish for its kindness. The fish was pleased and granted him a second wish. Okoro wished for a bigger house so he and Ada would no longer suffer in this small leaking hut. The golden fish swam around in a circle and the river glowed brightly. As Okoro reached home, he found a beautiful new house standing where their old hut used to be. Ada ran out with tears of joy, praising her husband's kindness and the magical golden fish. Days passed, and Ada began to think deeply. If the golden fish could give them all these gifts, maybe it could give even more. Her heart slowly grew greedy, even though she had everything she needed. She told Okoro to go back and ask for riches, farmland, and servants. But Okoro refused. He believed they had enough. Ada was unhappy with him. Ada pushed Okoro until he finally agreed to return to the river. He didn't want to upset his wife, but his heart felt uneasy. He worried that asking for too much might bring trouble. At the river, Okoro called the golden fish again. It appeared, but its glow was not as bright as before. Okoro explained his wife's request. "We want riches and servants," he said softly, ashamed. The golden fish listened quietly, and the water rippled slowly. The fish warned him, "Be careful with greed. Too much desire can destroy everything." But it still granted the wish before swimming away. When Okoro returned home, his small compound had become a large estate. Servants walked around and Ada wore expensive clothes. She was happier than ever. But Okoro felt uneasy. He knew Ada would soon want even more. Ada began to dream bigger. She wanted to be the richest woman in the entire kingdom. She wanted respect from everyone, and she wanted people to bow before her. She demanded that Okoro return to the river again. Okoro begged her to stop, but she refused. She wanted more power. Okoro reluctantly returned to the river.
This time, the water was dark and stormy. He called the golden fish, but it took a long time to appear. When it surfaced, the fish looked tired. "You have come again," it said sadly. Okoro bowed his head in shame. Okoro told the fish that Ada wanted to be the queen of the land. The fish sighed deeply. "This wish is dangerous," it warned. But Okoro insisted because he feared his wife's anger. The fish granted the wish, but the river fell silent afterward. Ada woke up in a palace surrounded by guards. She was now a queen. She smiled proudly, forgetting that everything came from the golden fish. But power changed her heart. She became proud, rude, and demanding. Even Okoro was treated like a servant. Ada wanted more. She wanted to control the whole world. She wanted to command the sun, moon, and stars. Her greed had turned into madness. She shouted at Okoro to return to the river for the biggest wish of all, to rule the heavens. Okoro went back to the river with tears in his eyes. The river was angry and roaring. Lightning flashed across the sky. He called the golden fish, and it appeared for the last time. It looked weak and disappointed. Okoro explained Ada's wish. The fish was silent for a long time. Then it spoke. "Your wife has gone too far. Her greed has destroyed everything." The fish flicked its tail and disappeared beneath the water, leaving Okoro alone with his fear. When Okoro reached home, he found that everything had vanished. The palace was gone. The servants were gone. The wealth disappeared like smoke. Their beautiful home turned back into the old leaking hut. Ada sat on the ground crying, realizing too late what her greed had done. Ada begged Okoro for forgiveness. She wept bitterly, holding her head in her hands. She finally understood that greed only brings sorrow. Okoro comforted her gently. "We still have each other," he said, "and we still have life. That is enough." The couple returned to their simple life. Though they remained poor, they found peace in their hearts. They no longer chased unnecessary riches. Okoro continued to fish, and Ada learned to be grateful. The golden fish never returned, but its lessons stayed with them forever. Moral lesson: be grateful for what you have. Greed destroys blessings. Too much desire leads to loss. Humble hearts receive lasting peace. Contentment is the real wealth.